Welcome back, Lemonsterites. I'm your state representative, Natalie Higgins, here for what we're going to call the winter edition of Representing Leominster. We're filming it just before Thanksgiving week, and a very important topic as we head into the colder weather, fuel assistance. And so I'm so excited to have Making Opportunity Count, MOC, our fuel assistance providers for the region, here today to talk about kind of the program. Make sure you all know who's eligible for it, because it's often surprising how many Leominster households actually can take advantage of fuel assistance funds. And so I'm so excited to be joined by Norma and Edward to talk about kind of all of the different ways that folks can access fuel assistance. You just opened up a new space down in Leominster, so we're excited to have you here in Leominster and far more accessible than you've ever been. But can you tell us a little bit about you, how you came to MOC? Both of you were doing work with LIHEAP, the acronym for fuel assistance, for about a decade or more. So can you just tell us a little bit about your role at MOC and how you came to this work?
Yeah, so I was with the New England Farm Workers Council for about 9 years, left and came back when John Keeney, the director, left, and then I took over. We were with New England Farm Workers for a couple of years, and then we came over to MOC in September of last year.
What about you?
Well, I've been working for Network for about 9 years. I had left that to start a eBay business. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. But then when I heard that MOC was taking over the program, they were looking for people to help, start the program, fresh, from the ground up.
Yeah.
So I was hired as a certifier for that, lead certifier for that. Now I'm the quality assurance coordinator. So I make sure that everything is in compliance with state standards.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad that you found your way to MOC. Norma, we've gotten to work together for about the 7 years that I've been state rep, and I just cannot thank you enough for how hard you work to make sure folks get access to that fuel assistance, get their applications figured out. I see you have a chart, and I'm guessing it has the eligibility. That's often really surprising for folks, just what the income limits are for fuel assistance. It's much higher than most other public assistance programs. And so if you want to share some of the kind of household sizes and what the income limits are, I think it would be really helpful for viewers to know that they might be eligible for some help.
Sure, and just so everyone knows, the income levels do go up every year, unlike most programs. So for a household of one, the maximum income would be $45,392. For a household of four, the maximum income level would be $87,294. And a household of five is $101,261.
And so the thing that I stress all the time, and I'm going to have my Leominster Champion article be about fuel assistance this month, is almost every household in Leominster meets these income guidelines. And sometimes there's hesitation of like, well, I'm doing okay, and I don't want to take away from someone else. And I really want to stress that this fuel assistance money is federally funded. It comes to us from the federal government. We want to make sure that everyone who needs it is getting access to it, because you're not taking away from someone else just because you're accessing it for the first time. And we know that with inflation and the rising housing costs, and just how much groceries cost, right? Like if we can ease your burden on heating your home, it gets really cold. Let's make sure that we're figuring out how to do this. And this is why I'm so excited to have both of you on talking about the important work that MOC does in this space.
Yeah, so we certainly encourage everyone to apply. Obviously, the more applicants we get, the better it is for the program. For upcoming years, the more funding.
Yeah, so an important point, like the more people who are utilizing it, it helps us make sure we have more funding coming in, and there's increases every year.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten to check out your new space down by the mall, but how is that going? That opened, there's like a place where folks can walk in.
It's actually going great.
It's going great?
Yes,
Yeah.
we have probably almost 100 people walking in on a daily basis at this point.
100 people walking in on a daily basis. I am beyond excited, because for so many of our folks who access fuel assistance, like maybe not reliable internet access, no access to a printer, not super like easy to fill out a form online, right? If you're not super internet savvy, being able to have like a place to walk into. When MOC told me that you guys were working on that, it's awesome. And it's right where the community health center is. So it's really great. Like you can get, urgent care, go get checked out by the community health center. They have dentistry, they have optometry now, like they have so many services, and to have fuel assistance right down the hall.
Yep, and so Mock also has a couple other programs there as
Great.
well, like housing and workforce development is also in the building.
Awesome.
So we're like a one-stop shop.
Yeah, which is awesome. And do you have anything, are you prepared to talk about some of the other places where Mock might be able to help families if they're not familiar with your organization? Could you give like a little rundown of some of the different areas you work in?
Well, Mock has various programs. For example, some of the programs would be the Meals on Wheels, Child Care and Head Start, Fuel Assistance, Women's, Infants, and Children, WIC, Family Resource Center, the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, the VITA program, Youth Programming and Summer Camp, and also recently the Emergency Assistance Shelter Program.
Awesome. You came prepared. I was so glad because I didn't want to miss this opportunity. Mock is doing so much incredible work in supporting our families, not just in the Twin Cities, but kind of in all of North
Also, I
Central.
want to mention that in 22, they served over 14,937 individuals and about 9,867 families.
Yeah. And I know we've been talking about, because you've been doing a lot more of the family shelter support right now, because there's such a high need for family shelter assistance. How do we make that more accessible? How do we help folks transition out of shelter into housing? How do we make sure that there's more affordable housing? Mock really is that safety net in a lot of ways, really supporting us at the state level to make sure that you're getting all of that programming directly into folks' hands. Is there anything else, Norma? You've been doing this work for a long time. Is there any tips or tricks for folks in filling out their fuel assistance application? Anything that you want to share for folks to be thinking about?
Sure. The one tip that I would say is as soon as you get the application, get it right into us. Don't hold on to it. This way here we can process your application in a timely manner because, I mean, we can't keep up with the influx of applications, but the sooner they get it in, the better it is for everyone, the clients and the agency.
Yeah, you and I are often dealing with a lot of folks in April or May trying to resolve fuel assistance claims that it would be easier in November or December, which is why we wanted to have you on to really highlight. It's not terribly hard of an application. The recertification, I will say, is super easy. We've been helping a lot of folks with that big blue sheet, and it made it so much easier, especially for elders who have been getting fuel assistance year after year. They just got to kind of spot check and make sure all of the information is consistent.
Yeah,
and I've heard it's been easier for them, easier than they've ever experienced.
Yeah, it's usually the first time, depending on the family size and composition or whatever, that makes it a little harder. But once you have that application in, unless something's changed, it's basically just sending in your proof of income every year along with the signed application.
And when folks qualify for fuel assistance, do they qualify for other programs? There's weatherization assistance, kind of making sure your house, your home is a little more energy efficient. There's other programs that Mock runs. Yeah,
so there's Mock Energy, who we work alongside with. So like you had mentioned, weatherization. If your furnace breaks and you're eligible for our program, then you're eligible for either replacement or repair through Mock Energy. Once you're approved through us and you have a public utility, you get a discounted rate through them as well. So our application isn't just for fuel assistance. It opens the doors for other programs as well.
Yeah, I just want to repeat that. If you qualify for fuel assistance, you get a discounted rate on, in our case, your national grid bill, which has been a huge help. And it makes it easier because once you get that fuel assistance, it kind of easily unlocks that other benefit. And I know that has been a godsend for a lot of residents, especially seniors on fixed income, to know that they're getting a
It's
discount.
quite significant that discount actually helps a lot.
Yeah.
They're actually talking about raising it
Good.
to between 65, it'll be as high as 65 and as low as 35% to help with cooling in the summer.
Great. Right, because we've always been really focused on heat in the winter, but now because of global warming and everything, our summers are getting so hot.
And humid.
Yeah. So we really need to make sure that we have more efficient housing and access to all of these utilities assistance.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you want to bring up, Edward? I see you have a whole page of notes.
Well, the benefit levels, the state just had recently increased the benefit levels. They range from $900 to $1,500, depending on gross income level for durable fuels such as oil, propane, and kerosene. The benefit levels range from $600 to $1,000 for utilities and heat included in the rent.
And I would like to add that there is a possibility of an increase between December and January. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping for that too.
That's awesome. Is that coming from the federal government,
Yes.
the increase?
Basically, the more demand for the program, the more funding we get.
Yeah. So we really want to encourage folks to use it. Something that we work on is the SNAP gap, getting folks to take advantage of SNAP food benefits, even if you qualify for that minimum amount, because we can show, oh, hey, a lot of folks need this, and then there's a bigger pool of people to advocate for increasing the benefits. In Leominster, 50% of the people who are eligible for SNAP don't get food assistance and don't take advantage of it. And we're trying to figure out what's going on. Do people not know about it? Are the applications too hard? Are the recertifications too hard? And
So
we've been trying to figure out how to help make it easier for folks to opt in.
So the thing with SNAP now is once you're eligible for SNAP, you're also eligible for our program. We're actually going to be communicating through technology, which is going to make things a lot easier for applicants who are already on the SNAP program.
And that has been something that we've talked with a lot of folks, like, well, if I'm already getting this benefit from the state, they know what my income is, and I already did my income verification. Why do I have to do it for public housing and for fuel assistance and for SNAP? Like, shouldn't I be able to go and do a one-stop? And I'm so glad that that is really starting to roll out, because we think, you know, technology has caught up. We should make sure all of our state systems are interacting with each other and making your jobs easier and our constituents' lives easier.
Exactly.
Well, yes, if the idea is if you qualify for SNAP, you should qualify for fuel assistance.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and to remind folks, for folks who maybe don't qualify for SNAP because of the income limits that Norma mentioned, you might actually qualify for fuel assistance, right? Fuel assistance covers a whole lot more. We need to increase our food assistance programs access because it's not meeting everyone who needs it. And we have a really incredible congressman who's working on that at the federal level to make sure more folks have food assistance. But fuel assistance has already been supporting far more families for decades.
And growing.
And so the one thing I just really want to stress is for anyone who has questions about fuel assistance, go chat with the MOC folks down at their location. Give them a call. Give us a call. We're happy to help fill out the applications too. Because when I was driving into the State House earlier this week, I heard that pre-pandemic, 1 in 8 families were facing food insecurity. They weren't sure where their next meal was going to come from, or they had to skip meals. Now, today in Massachusetts, 1 in 3 individual residents experience food insecurity. That's really scary. And so fuel assistance and all of these other programs that MOC runs really is hoping to make sure that folks can make it easier to make ends meet and easier to be able to live in our community safely with all of their basic needs met.
Right.
As a state rep, I'm worried. Like I have seen the increased need. I hadn't heard that they actually documented that it increased from 1 in 8 residents to 1 in 3. That is a really scary statistic as we're heading into a winter and we're worried about family homelessness, we're worried about elder homelessness, we're worried about general homelessness because it's just getting harder and harder to afford to live here.
you know, just the cost of living crisis, it's hard on everyone basically to live.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's hard on all of us. It's hard, I'm sure, on all of the folks who work at MOC. Like, we're working with so many human service providers who are helping families try to navigate this and struggling with finding affordable rent themselves, housing insecurity, and we gotta do better.
Yeah, I mean, that's our number one goal at MOC is to help, get the families out of poverty. And I think we're doing a really good job
You
with that.
are. And I'm just so grateful because at a time where in COVID, so much went online because it could or remote.
Yeah.
The fact that you're investing in a location in Leominster, for us, that's really meaningful because it makes it so much easier for folks to access. They know that it's there for them. And it's less of a hurdle to jump through. Sometimes we need that face-to-face interaction to bring down the anxiety about trying out something new or learning about a new program.
Absolutely. When the last couple of years at NEFWIC, we were shut down completely to the public, and it just made it so much harder because like you said, most clients need that face-to-face interaction over the phone or, email is just not the same.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Edward?
Well, the program has existed since 1977. It's been federally funded. In Massachusetts, it's about 21 community-based nonprofit agencies handle fuel assistance in the state of Massachusetts. some statistics. In Massachusetts, over 150,000 households have been served. And for our agency, we received over 8,500 applications last year.
Wow. But knowing those income limits, I think that you probably know this, there's a lot more families who could qualify for fuel
Absolutely.
assistance who aren't taking advantage of it.
Yeah. So we're doing a lot of outreach in different communities, in hopes to bring in more applicants.
And I love the weatherization and kind of those other things of like, if you have something that goes wrong with your heating system, because sometimes that's a way to get folks in. We've seen a lot of success of getting folks into SNAP because there's HIP, the Healthy Incentives Program. You can support farmers and get fresh produce in addition to your SNAP dollars, and that's really seen an increase. So making sure that folks can think about like, well, I want to make sure that I have like more efficient a heating system, or my furnace breaks down every once in a while and I want to make sure that I'm getting it fixed so I'm not stuck in the winter without
and
heat.
sometimes they have funds to help with cleaning as well too. So that's also the big burden lifted from the client.
Yeah, we know a few constituents who have taken advantage of the cleaning program too, and that was news to me that you can help with the furnace cleaning, because that is like more than $100, and for a lot of folks,
And they
that's
can't
not
afford
something
it.
that you have handy.
Right.
Anything else you want to share about your work? Anything that you're looking forward to kind of in the next winter? I know that this is your busy time, so this is when like all hands are on deck trying to get this fuel assistance money out into the community. But Norma, what are you looking forward to with MOC over the next few months?
I'm looking forward to serving more and more new applicants, so we can just keep getting our numbers up and helping more and more people in the community.
Yeah. Edward, what are you looking forward to in the next couple of months at MOC?
Well, I just take it day by day, try to give 110%.
Yeah.
But it's fulfilling work to be able to know that I'm helping families to stay warm during the winter.
Yeah. Awesome.
Something I want to say too is if you think you're going to be over income, we still encourage you to apply, because even if you are over income, we would give a denial letter, and then you can go to the Salvation Army for the Good Neighbor Fund, and they help with
great.
the delivery. Sometimes if we have third-party funding also, and you're over income, then we'd help with the delivery as well.
Great. So even if you don't think you're quite there, you can help folks access the other fuel assistance funds that exist in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I just want to thank you both for coming on and sharing a little bit about the work that you're doing, because it is a really important program, and we know that it helps folks kind of just ease some anxiety heading into the colder months, knowing that they're going to safely be able to heat their homes and not have to worry about that affordability. Thank you. I can't wait to come and check out the new space.
Can't wait to have you come by.
Yeah. So if you have questions about MOC and you have internet access, you can check them out at mocinc.org, or you can walk in. What is the address of? I always forget. I know
It's
the building.
165 Mill Street, Suite B.
165 Mill Street, Suite B. It's the Community Health Connections building. If you haven't caught that Community Health Connections moved over to the mall area during the pandemic, check them out, check MOC out, and find out all of the different ways that you can get supports. A lot of folks get services through MOC across a whole lot of different programs, because you make it easy to, once you kind of get into one, you find out, oh, they're doing all of this other great work. We'll probably have you all on to talk about the tax assistance program and how to access that, because that is also heading into the next year, something that we know so many Leominster residents take advantage of. But I just want to thank you both for coming on and talking about fuel assistance. If you have questions, please reach out. Don't hesitate. And you can always reach us at the Leominster office at 978-227-5278, or email me at natalie.higgins@mahouse.gov. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in.
Thank you for having us.
It's been a pleasure.